Boxing King Media, powered by BYD. I'm going to jump in, guys. You're having your mid-conversation. I'm guessing you're talking about that crazy face-off. How do you both see it?
Huh?
We weren't talking
No, we weren't talking about that.
What were you talking about?
Politics.
We're talking about politics.
Yeah.
What, as in like next Prime Minister politics or boxing politics?
That as well. But, you know, it was getting heated. I mean, I didn't know you was a Tory supporter.
No. Don't even say that. Don't even say that. I'm from Manchester, not where are you from?
Yeah.
Just for the record, Spencer was joking. He's not a Tory supporter.
He's like, calm down, man.
So yeah, let's talk about that face-off. What do you guys think?
That was the most intensive face-off.
Oh, it was crazy, wasn't it?
That was the most intensive face-off I've seen since, what was it, October 94, Frank Bruno, was it 93? Lennox Lewis, Frank Bruno. That was a very, very intensive face-off. And Richard surprised me a lot in that face-off.
I've never seen him as focused as this.
Wow.
I've never seen him as focused. It shows how intense the fight's going to be tomorrow night. I think it's given us a glimmer of how that fight's going to go. Because they're both tuned in, they're both locked in, they both know how much this is. My one question of Richard was, can he compete mentally with Chris Billam-Smith? Because Chris Billam-Smith can, at world level. You know what's like a world level, there's a concentration level that a lot of fighters can't keep for 12 rounds.
You know, also, I don't know how Richard's going to handle the atmosphere of tomorrow. It's and whereas Chris Billam-Smith's fought in stadiums, right? He's fought on big fights. And not only that, the confidence that Billam-Smith must have after getting that fantastic win over Lawrence Okolie, and then Okolie coming back now and moving up in weight and winning a world title. And he's thinking, I beat a guy for a world title, and now he's gone on to win a world title. That raises your confidence. And I also think that this fight could be won and lost by the corners. The experience of what Shane McGuigan's bringing isn't a joke, because he's bringing a lineage of his old man, right? Shane McGuigan's bringing a lineage of him working. He was working studiously with like one of Britain's best amateur fighters ever, and a man called Errol Christie, who passed away 8 years ago this week. Was mad, right? Passed away of cancer. Like him and Errol Christie were like this. So he learned a lot from Errol. So he really does know boxing. He's grown in his position. Angel Fernandez was kind of pushed into the front very early, where you didn't. Not saying you never earned your, because everyone is where they are, but you never really earned it.
This is where he improved.
This is what I'm saying.
Because I thought, in fairness, with Fraser Clark, there were a lot of people doubting him against Fabio Wardley, and I thought
he put excellent performance.
It was an excellent performance. So as you said, we've never seen.
That's one of the best fights that I've seen on Sky.
Yeah, it was incredible. But you are right. This is a coming of age fight for Angel as well. It was good to see him on the top table. And it's good to see him coming out of the shadow, because obviously he came on, jumped in because of Anthony Joshua, and now has his own stable. But as you said, Shane and Chris as well, they're so in sync. You rarely see a fighter and trainer that in sync, that trusting of each other. And believe me, if you think they had a game plan for Lawrence Okolie, they've been studying this man for over a year.
Wow.
This is a mandatory. They always knew this fight was coming. They knew Richard was with me. It was always coming. They've been preparing for this moment for over 12 months. That's what Richard's going to have to contend with. But I think he will, and I think we're going to see a great fight.
To put you on the spot here, so Ben's obviously had, people have criticised about all these purse bid situations, but this is big for the South London community. He's putting a stadium show on. I can't think of any South London event where it's been in a stadium in recent times. How big is it for the community, and obviously what he's done?
I'm really glad that I've got the great man, and I'm with Mr. Ben Shalom right now, simply because there's a couple youth centres, like where I believe I'd love to see, like if we could go sort out these youth to come in, because I know it's sold really, really well, but there's a couple youth centres where they are looking at guys like Richard, who's from the ends, where, you know what, how he's turned his life around. Not only him, but also if you look at the card as well, like from around here as well. Dan Aziz is from around here, and for you to say you're putting on a show, that's a big goings. That's big goings.
He's gambled his nuts here, really, to put this event on.
He has. So I've been getting phone calls all morning from Pekka BMX, and I'm on the patron of that club as well. So big up CK Flash MBE. He does fantastic things for the kids of the community. It'd be nice if you, Ben, could sort out something for the young kids.
100%.
Thank you very much.
You know what? It's not an area, if I'm honest, that before I got into boxing at 23 that I knew very well. obviously they're producing so many fighters.
He's only 25 now.
And it's true. They're producing so many fighters that you fall in love with the place. I can't lie. Like you see, Dan was probably my first introduction, and I used to go to where he was, and he still has that council flat. And you see the passion that they have for boxing, and the way that they idolize anyone that gets out of certain situations that they're in, and the way Crystal Palace embrace the Palace for Life Foundation, and you see the footballers coming through. It's a great part of the world. It's a great culture. It's a great community. We're staying in Croydon all week, and Yard-Buatsi as well, you know, is from Croydon as well, and they just seem to produce these talents. So to be able to go and do a real South London event, a real South London affair, Yard-Buatsi Aziz was one. It sold really, really well, much more than Yard-Buatsi would sell on his own, much more than Aziz would sell on his own, because it brought the South London community together. And
even though we had to travel up to Wembley.
Thankfully, we found the South London venue.
And that's why I've got to give you better ratings, because it's like a 10-minute drive from my house. How about that one? So
I wanted to highlight that because people are always quick to highlight all the negative stuff promoters do, but this is quite a big what you've done, so I think it's important what is highlighted out there. So the other thing, I'm going to put you on the spot now, Ben, here. Anthony Yard, you're in the Anthony Yard Club. Ben's trying to make Yard-Buatsi. You know, talk about this. Well, what's going to be the resolution in this situation where, you know, Yard saying I'm a free agent, Frank saying you're not? What's going on?
You or me?
my friend, let me tell you this, yeah? I want you to realize this. I've always been taught to mind your business, right? And people get confused when we say mind your business because they spell it M-I-N-D, right? It's not. It's M-I-N-E. I minded my treasure. I can't. Tundi and Yard, they are my family. So I'm not going to say, I can't speak on their legal sides because I could say something that is, you know what, I'm not really aware of it because, like, I'm going to be real with you, yeah? Tundi will phone me to harass me about what fights he needs to study to improve his fighters. When it comes to the business, you're going to talk to people like him. They ain't got, I really wish that fight can happen, right? I say nothing against Frank Warren, nothing against Ben Shalom because he's right here. Let them people handle their things. That got nothing to do with me, bro.
Fair statement.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are quick to judge and things like that, but you never know what's going on. Like, you just don't, boxing's a weird and wonderful place at times. For me, as a promoter of Yard-Buatsi, we're just frustrated that the fight's not happened. I wanted the fight on Saturday night, and that would have been a hell of a spectacle. So I'm frustrated as a fan, as a promoter, that it didn't happen. I still think it's the biggest fight in this country in that division by a long way. Not even close. By a long way. People have wanted to see that fight. I wanted to see that fight before I even had a promoter's license. So I think that shows the history of those two guys. I think that shows the history of them as in the division. Without doubt, the two most talented light heavyweights in the country. I want to see it. I hope it happens. I still hope it happens because I know it's what the fans want to see as well. I think we'll definitely know more in the next week or two.
Last question, Chris EUBANK Jr. officially he's with no one. So, where does he fight on Sky? Would you want to see him against? Is it Hamza Shiraz? You know,
I would like to see him
fight for a world title.
Pardon me?
He's got to fight for a world title.
Well, if he can fight for a world title, I think, like, I'm gonna just keep this thing totally 100. You know what I mean? It'll be fitting if you could do a link up with Chris EUBANK Jr. If you're not already talking to him, you ain't gonna tell us anyway, right? We're not on camera, you ain't, right? That to go and draw him in simply because you work with him already. You've done 2 fantastic shows with him, right? And
he's a star.
He is a star.
He's a star.
He's a star. He's a star.
He's the third one.
Right. Yeah, he's a star.
Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. You can't put any other British fighter's name, I don't think, ahead of EUBANK Jr. in terms of star power. I don't think you can.
Anthony Yard. Anthony Yard. Right, that's my thing, Anthony Yard. Straight standard.
Why Yard and why EUBANK?
I want to see Yard-Whittaker. I think that's going to, one day that is going to be, huge.
Quick debate there.
But Yard-Buatsi beats Yard anyway.
Yard beats Yard. Listen, number one is this, yeah? You see on this, like, I'm very close to Joshua Yard-Buatsi. It was me that linked up Joshua Yard-Buatsi with Virgil Hunter, right? So you're
to blame.
Yeah, exactly.
Joking,
right? No, for real.
Yeah.
What we gotta do with our fighter is, right, so I'm saying to you, like, I'm close to Yard-Buatsi, not overly close with him, but what people don't know is that Yard and Yard-Buatsi have sat down and spoken together at dinner saying like, yeah, but let's make this thing. So it's not like they don't want it. They do want it. It's just that certain intangibles need to be met. And I think like you're in a position to make it happen, and so is Frank Warren, and hopefully you guys can sit down and make this thing happen, and then we can see a great fight. But no, you turn around saying that Yard-Buatsi could be anti-Yard. Anti-Yard is now coming into his own, and this is what he needs. He needs big fights.
But it's what Yard-Buatsi needs as well.
Yeah, of course he knows what Yard-Buatsi needs.
He needs that big.
Of course he does. And I'm looking, when that happens, it happens, man.
Yeah.
But I'm going for anti-Yard, obviously. You're gonna go for Yard-Buatsi, obviously. And let's see the better man win. That's it.
You both said something interesting. You said Yard's the third biggest name. You said EUBANK's the third biggest name. Give me 2 reasons why you think it's Yard, and you give me 2 reasons why it's EUBANK.
Yeah, but listen,
I want to know what you're basing it on.
Chris is a pay-per-view star. Doesn't matter who he fights. That's rare in boxing, and the numbers don't lie. So you have to say Chris. I'm not saying Anthony can't become that, but Chris is there.
Yeah, you know, end of the day, he's dealing with actuality, I'm dealing with potentiality. Right? That's what, but at the end of the day, what I'm saying will become the reality. That is it.
On that note, guys, thank you for your time. All the best.